After poring over hundreds of scripts, I realized that despite the difference in wording, if I simply made sure I hit these main milestones along the way, I usually end up closing the sale. This is a quote from Alex Hormozi talking about his closer framework. It's the framework he's used over the past 10 years to close millions and millions and millions of sales, to close nearly anyone. And in this video, I'm going to walk through how an average sales guy like you and me can apply this in our roles to increase our close rate. First letter C stands for clarify why they are there. Nobody wants to speak with salespeople. A study just came out by Gartner recently. I think it was 70 to 80% of buyers want nothing to do with a salesperson at all during the sales cycle, during the buying process. They don't want to talk to us. So, but if they're talking to us, they're talking to us for a reason. It's because they have a problem they think our solution can solve. So by clarifying why they're there, what we're doing is we're getting to the main problem, their biggest problem, as quickly as possible. Very simple. That's all we're doing at the very start of the conversation to kick it off the right way. And we do this via outbound and inbound. So outbound, we went to them. We cold call them. We cold DM them on LinkedIn. We sent them a cold email. Something was intriguing enough in our messaging for them to want to take a conversation with us. Chris, I'm sure you get lots of outreach. You get lots of cold emails. I can only imagine. Why did you agree to meet with us today? Or look, your time is valuable. I bet you ignore 99% of outreach. What intrigued you about the cold email I sent you? And why did you want to take the time today? For inbound, it's really the same question, but for inbound is they came to us. The opportunity is a little bit hot, right? It's not cold whatsoever. They have some context about us. They filled out a form on the company website. They really think they have a problem we could solve. For inbound, same question. Outside of the details that you provided on the form you filled out, and that was helpful, shapes today's conversation. I appreciate it, Chris. Why did you agree to meet with us today? Get to the problem as quickly as possible. And what we're really doing here, what's a win for them? What's the one thing you want to accomplish on today's call? That way we can make sure it's a productive conversation. What's a win? What's the problem? That's how you kick off a sales conversation the right way. Of course, after sharing the agenda and the upfront contract. That's C. L. Label them with a problem. This is all about L and O, and we'll get to O in a second. It's all about understanding the problem in a bit more detail. Label them with a problem, recapping and summarizing. They're telling us problems. Hopefully they're talking for the majority of the conversation, especially at the start. We want them to be word vomiting their problems to us. Active listening. It sounds like you're up against X. It's impacting Y. The implications are Z. Am I hearing that correctly or am I off base? I know active listening, guys, is hard. This is the most important skill to master in sales because most salespeople absolutely suck at this, and all they're doing is waiting for the salesperson or the prospect to stop talking so they can start pitching. Or the prospect just talked about a problem in a lot of detail, and the next question out of the salesperson's mouth has nothing to do with what they just said. All they're doing is looking down at a piece of paper and going down a list of questions. Never good. A couple questions around labeling them with a problem to really get to the root of the problem in a bit more detail that are killer are these two right here. I have to imagine at some point you and your team had a meeting to discuss the problem, define it, and agreed to take action to solve it. Curious, what did that meeting sound like? Or the magic moment question. Man, the problem sounds like it sucks. Curious, when was the moment you guys realized that was a problem? And if you could get the prospect to say, yeah, that problem sucks at the very start of the conversation, you have them. With these two questions, what you're really doing is you want the prospect to go back to the time when the problem was most painful and tell a story about that. Stories sell on both sides of the table. So that's L. And again here, guys, this is key. We're not telling them they have a problem. They have to say it. They have to verbalize it. Once they verbalize it, then we can label it to make sure we fully understand it. O. Overview the past pain. So this has been a pain for some time now. What have they done to solve it? That's what we want to get out here. So here's some killer questions. I have to assume you tried to solve the problem already, or maybe you wanted to, but didn't have enough resources to do it. And that's why we're talking today. Curious, can you walk me through what have you guys tried already? Right? How did it work out for you? And the reason I'm asking the questions, Chris, if it didn't work out, and I'm assuming it didn't, that's why we're speaking today. I just want to make sure it's going to work out with us. And I want to understand the limitations and what you already tried to make sure those limitations don't exist with us. And then outside of that, what else have you tried? Exhaust what they have done with this pain in the past to solve. You want to fully understand this. And this is a killer question, guys. This you need to start asking. And this is a killer Alex Hormozi question. What happens if the problem isn't solved 6 months from now? If somebody comes back and says, yeah, if it's not solved 6 months from now, it'll be annoying, but we'll deal with it. We'll live with it. That person looks like this. A person who looks like this has zero urgency. And if they don't have any urgency, you're probably not going to close that deal. We only want to have conversations with people who have a ton of pain. Yeah, Matt, if this isn't solved 6 months from now, I'm probably not going to have a job. So we know that pain is so big that there is urgency here. And again, we only want to spend time with prospects where our solution is going to be a top priority for them to bring on board because it solves one of their biggest challenges. This is key. Alex Hormozi talks about it all the time. Qualify fast, disqualify faster. Only spend time with folks we actually can close. We're not spending time with folks we can't close. It's key to this whole framework. That's O. Some killer questions here, guys. S, sell the vacation. Before talking about or going into your pitch, take a step back. Ask for permission and summarize what you heard to make sure you have the full scope and all the problems of what they're up against. To recap what you folks are up against, summarize it. Outside of that, is there anything else I should know in terms of challenges or goals around mobile device security and management with the project that you feel are important that we haven't spoke about yet? We need to exhaust this. And then once we have the challenges in detail, we understand what they're up against, the impact to them specifically and the larger part of the organization. At that point, we could transition to the vacation. It sounds like, we might be able to help. Would it be helpful to give you some context in terms of how we could solve that problem? Absolutely, Matt, go ahead. And your pitch should be no longer than 3 minutes. There it is there. No longer than 3 minutes. No jargon. What I mean by jargon, the word integration and implementation. When a prospect hears integration, the first thing they think about is, this is going to be a lot of work. This is going to be a lot of work to get up and running. None of those words should be in your vocabulary as a salesperson. You're not talking about features. The prospect does not care about features. The only thing they care about is, can you solve the problem? Your pitch needs to be problem-solving focused, and ideally, you're telling short stories that are relevant to them. Maybe it's in the same industry, or maybe it's the same exact problem and how you specifically solved it. Stories sell, features don't. If there are multiple problems, this is key, guys. Explain how you solve them in order of most pain to least pain. So when we're on demos, most salespeople think it's like this magic mic drop moment, when they're going to wait till the very end of the demo to show the feature they need to see most to solve their biggest pain point. That's not how you demo. That's not how you pitch. You start at the top and work your way down. What's their biggest pain point right now that you found in discovery? And that is what you're leading with in your pitch, exactly how you could solve their biggest challenge by telling stories, not talking about features. And then work your way down. Hormozi. They won't buy based on your pitch. They buy based on how understood they feel. You could be really good at talking. you could be a great orator, you could be a great presenter. But if it's not relevant to them and they don't feel like you get them and you're on the same page with them and you understand them better than they understand them about their problems, you're not going to sell. You're not going to close. So this is key, guys. They need to think you understand them better than you. And you do that with discovery. Great discovery. And I really like this quote from Hormozi. Only 3 things come out of your mouth on a sales call. Questions, restatements. Restatements are summarizing what you heard. It sounds like XYZ. Am I hearing that correctly? And stories. If it's not one of those 3, you're not on the right path. And this could be hard, but what I would do, guys, is record your calls and watch them back and come up with a percentage of everything you said. Did it fall within these 3? And ideally, 75 to 80% of what you said on that sales call, that first call, was either a question, a restatement, or a story. E, explain away their concerns. Just watch this video, guys. I did a complete masterclass on handling every sales objection. Excuse me. I'm about to have the hiccups here. A lot of people liked it, and I walked through the 5 best techniques to handle any sales objection to move sales conversations forward. So I would watch that video in terms of how to explain away their concerns. And then lastly, E, reinforce their decision. So you just close somebody. Within 48 hours, what are you doing? What I try to do, guys, is what I will be doing. I'm in a new sales role. I'll be FedExing, overnighting a handwritten note. Again, to reinforce they made the right decision. Reinforce I'm their guy. I'm going to take care of them. Send over a personalized video to everybody you encountered in that deal to make sure they know this was their right decision. This was a good decision. Have your CEO send something. Send over a handwritten note. Send over an email. Give this other CEO a phone call. These things go a long way. Smooth transition to customer success. So typically, we're account executives. Maybe you're an SDR about to be an account executive, ideally by watching this YouTube channel, right? Getting promoted. Transition them to customer success. Get the customer success team involved early on in the process before the deal is closed. These things go a long way, and stay in touch. Now, it might seem like obvious stuff, but 99% of salespeople don't do this stuff. And that's why Alex Hormozi is going to be a billionaire, because he stays in touch. He does the little things right. Guys, I hope this video helped you out and it helped you apply his framework that is going to close probably billions of dollars for him. It helps you out in your sales role. If you want more videos like this, let me know in the comment section below. This is what I'm using this year to ideally close more sales. Obviously, there's more to it than this, but if you could follow these steps, you're going to close a lot of deals. That's for watching, guys. Appreciate you.